You can support this show at patreon.com/ASA podcasting.
Clank, clank, clank.
The wasteland is a host of apocalyptic mess as the sole survivor wanders out about to see the rest. Nuclear explosions sending out the gamma rays from deep within the core, frozen atomic waves. From deep within the core, frozen atomic waves.
Hello and welcome to the 407th edition of the Fallout Feed. I am Andrew, joined by a flock of my favorite Fallout folks tonight. We've got Jess. What's up, Jess?
Hey, Andrew. Greets, everybody.
And Ray. What's up, Ray?
Hello, hello.
Tonight on the show, we're just going to be visiting a little bit of our recent gameplay. Jess prepared a little bit of a game she's calling Rave Reviews. We've got a little bit of news and probably check in with, see what's going on. Community shouts. Oh, no community shouts. Is anyone a scorecation yet? Have you seen any of those trickle in yet? You guys puttering around on Twitter?
I haven't been prompting people for scorecations. I actually know of one or two we can shout out, but I think even Alex, is he done yet? I don't think so. It's taking a little slower.
No.
89, I think, or something.
Did get
I've got
distracted
two I
by
can shout
real
out.
life.
Like two friends.
That's cool. All right. Well, we'll let Mo give you the kudos here and at the end of the show there. So all you scorecationers, so jealous of you all. Let's go ahead and start off with a little score check-in. I just got the last 10% boost, so that must mean I'm at 70 or 75 somewhere. I forget exactly where that
Excellent.
happens.
Yeah, I think it's 75.
So I've just passed that on my my character there. Jess, or would you still cranking away on that scoreboard at all?
So much like last week, I haven't been cranking like I should. This is maybe my most lax scoreboard in a long time.
That seems to be community-wide, right?
Yes and no. I mean, I'm hearing some people who have found that it's going a little bit quicker for them, even without the level up, just because of the way that they're playing and, having to get the six challenges and all that. Mm-hmm. So I'm at 24 on Xbox. Made a little headway there, almost a quarter of the way through.
Nice.
I did get my first rank up, actually. So if that's 25, then I'm actually 25 now. I did hit that. PC, I'm probably where I level or two beyond last week, so maybe 14. And then PlayStation, I'm still not even at 5. I'm like right in front of that cold shoulder. I just haven't gotten it yet.
What do you? Is PlayStation generally just a you Wastelanders thing? Is that what you hop on there for specifically?
So far, it has been, yeah. Except for 2 nights where I went and I just, was officially questing. It's been you Wastelanders for 3 sessions and then actually playing quests for 2. And that's like 5 times, I guess, so far I've played Fallout over there on 76.
You count them on one hand. Very cool. All right, guys. Well, let's, Ray, sorry, I don't mean to ignore your scoreboard run there. Level 0 still? Level 1 maybe? I forget where you were. 2?
Yeah, I have not advanced at all in either platform. So,
he's I forgot he can fail in 2 different platforms there. So
yes,
that's great. Right on. Well, let's go ahead and roll into a little bit of gameplay then this week. Ray, have you been playing any video games this week?
I have. So still doing dailies, even though it's not in 76.
And your fun game you're playing dailies.
Yeah. Been playing around with some Skyrim stuff. But in Fallout 4, I decided, so it's probably been a year or more since Vortex Nexus mods introduced collections. And I played around a little bit in Skyrim, but hadn't really done much of it in Fallout 4. And, I've been playing around with some mods and trying to get things going, with some new, visual mods and stuff. But I've been having a little bit of a stuttering problem and, so I was getting a little bit frustrated with that. But then I watched a Juicehead video, where he recommended a collection, and I thought, I've not really played around with these. I need to get busy. I've got the Nexus Premium, which makes it insanely easy
Really?
to load these things. So essentially, so you find a collection, and you add it to your Vortex, and then you click load, and it just starts automatically downloading mods.
Now,
Does it do them in the correct order and everything, or do you have to basically enable? Wow.
Yeah. So the author of the collection builds it, and puts in the load order and all that kind of stuff. Vortex verifies it, and so it just all loads in. Everything goes in place, and there was a couple of prompts I had to answer. So some of the mods had faux mods, and so you have options to select. Some of the mods I already had loaded, and so it asks you if you want to load the new version or keep the one you've got, and that's it. The rest of it is just all automatic, and when it's all done loading everything in and putting it in order, it says, okay, hit play.
Wow. So it'll enable them and everything, and it sorts them, and that's amazing. And this includes textures and other add-ons like that. How about ENBs? Are ENBs part of these collections?
Yep. Yeah, so they can even add, stuff that isn't from Nexus mods. So if you don't have the script extender, it'll load that for you. It'll load your ENB, all of the like ENB helper, and it added this one used an ENB that I already had, the reactor ENB.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it does it all for you. Now, if you don't have Nexus Premium, then it prompts you to load each and every mod. So you have to go in and tell it that you want slow download to do it. But otherwise, it's it's the same thing. Once you have them downloaded, then it just goes through and puts them in order, enables them, and you're off to the races.
So I'm going to ask here what mod pack you installed, just out of curiosity.
So the one that I installed was called Such Fallout 4.
Okay.
Is
there a theme to it?
So really the big thing was that it had all of the upgraded textures, and so it had a really good look to it, and so it even has. So it didn't have the tree mod that I didn't like. But it's got one that just has only slightly fewer trees. And they're not quite as big. So it's been, it's been interesting. It definitely is more manageable. This one is called Another Pine Forest mod.
Oh, okay. So like my last playthrough Fallout 4, I had a mod called Another Green mod. So this is maybe by the same people, but Pine Forest specifically? I wonder.
Good. Yeah.
There's a Boston Natural Surroundings that I was looking at that adds like Scottish fir and some pine and such. Looked really nice. It's amazing the number of different green mods and landscape mods that are out there.
Oh yeah. And so, because of the all the helper mods that they also included, this thing runs like silk.
Oh, that sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
So
the only thing I don't like is so that it does mess with your LOD a little bit. So if you're in a really, really busy area, your your stuff is loading in a little bit later than you would normally, if you didn't use this mod. But it's, the trade-off is that it runs super smooth. The issue I was having before was that, when I would get into a busy area, it would be really stuttery.
Mm-hmm.
And
so this moved that, but now you have a little bit more pop in and such. And it's not probably all customizable, right? Like you could change the load distance and stuff like that if you wanted, but you might lose some of the smoothness.
Yeah. But it's been fun. It's there's a lot of stuff that I haven't used. It's completely stacked on sim settlements.
Okay.
So essentially every sim settlements to, plug in and, patch and everything else is all in there.
Because you're all about those settlements.
Yeah. But I haven't messed around with sim settlements too. So it's something I want to do. It's just not in this particular playthrough that I'm doing right now. Mm-hmm. And also it's got a bunch of weapons mods. And I already had my weapons, decided when I built the character. So it's a sniper. It's basically a sneaky character. So my weapons are Pikmin's Blade, Deliverer, and Tinker Tom's special rifle.
Awesome. That sounds like a great loadout, and that's really cool that you've got that collection working. I think it's really interesting that you bring this up this week, because I was actually, while going down a mod rabbit hole this past week, I was looking at collections too, and I'm thinking, geez, I wonder if Ray has tried these. And I found a mod collection called Lost World that has two variants, has a Stalker variant and a Metro variant. And it kind of gives it like the feel of the Stalker games, feel of the Metro games, with some amazing stuff. Have you seen this collection?
I think I have. I definitely saw one that was, I had watched a video on somebody that had their game modded like Stalker.
Yep, he might have been using that mod then, because that's how I found it, was through a video originally, and then I started following the links in the description. I actually did what they told me to for once.
Yeah. And the only real problem I had with that was that so I had used one of the mods that they have, which lets you do the lean from cover, so you can lean out and take a shot, and that mod was incredibly annoying because the button that it used to activate the mod is the button that you use to interact with everything, the E key. And so every time I wanted to access or pick something up, I'd want to pick something up and I would lean.
Oh no. Yeah, you'd want to reprogram that for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, it's super simple. If it's not as easy if you don't have premium, but if you have premium, it's just push the button. So this pack that I loaded has 161 mods in it.
Holy muffins! Okay,
and I clicked load and then just left it. Made dinner, ate dinner, cleaned up, went back. It was done.
That is just really cool to know that it actually queues them up, installed in the right order, and all that, and it's running so smooth for you. So, Andrew, so are you going to register for a premium on Xbox? We're going to get this done on Xbox. Big old fancy mod packs.
So, say that again.
I was asking if you were going to install this on Xbox, which of course we can't. Well, PC Master Race. I was just making fun of us.
Nexus? I'm like, what is that?
We have 150 mod limit on console anyway, not just the 2 gig limit, which I'm sure this exceeds.
Oh yeah, big time.
150 mods.
Well, that just still baffles me as to why Fallout 4 has a smaller mod allotment space than Skyrim does. Like, it just doesn't make
It's
sense.
just because it was first, I think. Just because it was first. And if they were to do it again, I think it'd be larger.
Yeah.
Well,
But
so
definitely a lot of good stuff. So it uses Fall UI, which I've used quite a bit. But this one uses all of the parts of Fall UI. And there's definitely some cool stuff in there that I hadn't picked up before. So that's been nice when you when you go to either sleep or wait, it brings up a menu and you can select either morning, noon, or night. Quick buttons.
Fallout 1 had that shit.
Yeah. or you could roll up a certain number of hours and do it that way too. But it also shows you the light cycle. So when if you're going to wait for say 6 hours, is that going to put you in the middle of the day, or is it going to put you right at sunup, or what? So it's a nice, easy, quick visual for that, which was fun. There's also some mods that add player homes and stuff like that, and so you'll be walking along and you look, I don't remember a door being there, and sure enough,
neat.
you'll go to it, open up the door, go inside, and see that it's a little little living space.
It's funny because curated mod pack, you don't even know what it's getting, so it's going to be surprised. And the funny thing is like, Andrew and I mean, generally speaking, if you download mods and you get a larger mod, it adds things you're not necessarily aware of every little thing it adds, or every nook and cranny space. And now you don't even know all the mods you're loading.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
It'll list them out for you, but of course, I'm way too lazy to go through and look at every single mod. I just hit play, and so I'll figure it out as I go.
Mm-hmm. So have you gotten very far in a playthrough with that? I mean, is this incorporated in the playthrough you've been doing, or this is like your next setup for the next playthrough? Like, where are we at right now in your current?
So I started a new character with it, and I think I'm like level 12. I've gone through the railroad, have ballistic weave, and all that.
Oh God, I forgot about ballistic weave. Maybe I need to go visit the goddamn railroad.
Yeah, it's pretty handy. But I'll do another character here pretty soon to try out the sim settlement stuff. Something with more than charisma of 1.
I imagine that might be important for dealing with the sim settlement stuff, right? Do they make you have a base requirement to boss people around and stuff?
No, not really. But if you want more than just a small handful of settlers in your settlement, then
they still have that cap where it's charisma plus, what did we figure it out? Plus 10, plus 11,
plus 10, I believe.
10.
Yep.
So, also I got a mod. It goes by Red, but it's a dialogue mod.
Is it a communist mod with a name like that?
No.
Okay.
But what it is an absolutely fascinating mod. So evidently there is available to the modding community these days an AI that you can teach a voice.
Yes. Yep.
And so the modders have, gone in and taught the AI the voice of Nate and Nora.
Yep. I have heard about that. I just did a video on it on another mod recently. I think the Fens Sheriff Department has a module. That big Fens Sheriff Department mod that they've rolled out has a module that will allow your character to do that now too, which is neat because originally you were silent in that. So yeah, I look forward to trying.
And so whatever they put in as the dialogue, this AI will create the voice protagonist, spoken words in their voice. Before, the mod authors had to cobble together lines
Grabbing
of
bits and
dialogue,
pieces. Yeah.
and try to piece them together and build comments. But this really, changes a lot.
It's odd. I mean, there's a question to that about, taking someone's voice and using it in a mod. And I think for small things, if you're just kind of fleshing out something that's there, it's probably fine. But you do have to wonder how far you can go with it before it becomes inappropriate, where you're taking work from a voice actor. But this is a case where, it's inside of a game mod that you're already doing with character already acting and lines written. And, I wouldn't think that would be a problem. But I am curious what people think about that.
Right. And it's not like, essentially, if you can't piece it together with already acted voice lines, you just don't do it. So it's not like it's really going to take away any work from these voice actors, because they weren't going to do the lines anyway. If they were done, by anybody, it would have been, the modder's, girlfriend, making the
quite often. Yep.
So it's I don't think they'll get too much pushback from it.
Yeah, I think within the confines of a mod in a modded game that's already out and such, that it probably won't be an issue. If you try to bring that into new content, then that would be an issue.
Yeah, and it's not every line. It's just the ones that they didn't have any other way of getting. But it really does, it opens up a lot more. And I think this is, what is it? It's role play. The R stands for role play. So
Okay.
it is a mod designed to give you, voice options that, that go along with role playing. And it also adds speech checks for skills other than charisma.
Oh, which we love. Which we love. I mean, one of the
when you
primary
walk
complaints of
into
Fallout 4.
when you walk into Good Neighbor and the guy goes to shake you down,
Oh,
and you've got a strength of 10, and this guy is trying to bully you, but you've got a charisma of 1, so when you tell him to back off, he tells you to pound sand. Before, your only other option was to just straight up kill him right there, which isn't necessarily a good role play decision, if your character isn't like that.
right. Assertive enough to stand up for himself, but not aggressive enough to kill. Yeah. And I mean, they probably designed it that way because they needed Hancock to come in and make his move, but now this allows strength option and such. That's really cool. I like that.
So you can speech check him, and just like the charisma speech check, when you tell him to back off, Hancock still kills him. So even if you've and he'll say, "Hey, I know you I know you had old Finn handled, but I can't have people going around."
That's perfect. I mean, hey, he threatens his job as mayor. He threatens his position.
Yeah.
Hancock can't let that stand. I get it.
But yeah, there's all kinds of stuff like that. So it's been an interesting mod to play around with.
That is really cool. Really cool. So is this, I know that, sometimes you finish characters when you're done with them, move to the next. Are you still playing on the last playthrough, or is this now the current playthrough?
No, it's the next one. Yeah.
Okay. That's what I figured, but I wasn't sure. I'm a completionist. I always play to some finite ending, but I know that, you don't always feel the need.
Yeah. Well, I played to a finite ending. I played until I got the overboss armor.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
Got that. I was done. And so I've gotten all the weapons I wanted, and am having fun tearing through the wasteland without anybody knowing what killed them. But I won't be doing this much longer. I'll move on to something else. I've got a lot of I've got a lot of stuff in this mod package that I need to put to use.
Yeah, easy install, easy go. Absolutely. Now that you can use collections, you can just roll it out.
Yeah.
Play for a couple hours and decide.
Right now, this character is not survival. The overboss character was survival. This one has not been. I think if I do the sim settlements, I probably won't do survival on that one. And then once we land on a round table, then I've got mods lined up to work with survival.
I think we're going to get this roundtable started within a couple weeks. I'm feeling good about it. We made decisions last week. When we get to my gameplay, I'll talk about what I've been doing. I feel it. Yeah. I feel it on the horizon. I feel it coming.
All right. Yeah, it's, I've been kind of hands off because, I can't tell what is available on Xbox.
Yeah.
Because I don't have Fallout 4 on Xbox.
You'd have to slum it on Bethesda Net instead of the Nexus in order to find out.
So all I know is you've got the Fallout feed flag and I don't.
So that we're gonna make Ray play next season of the Roundtable on his Xbox, then, right?
No, we care about him. I mean, don't get me wrong. You're more used to it now, for sure. And I mean, if you're up for it, that'd be cool, but I don't expect it.
No. I tried to play Rage on the Xbox, and it was like, oh no.
It was an apt title then. You truly raged.
I did.
Clint wants to know, how high is Ray's murder count? I don't know what he's talking about specifically, but
well, I can definitely say that my murder count is higher in Skyrim.
Mm-hmm.
Because one of the things that I did was there's a mod in Skyrim called Winter Suns, which is a mod that lets you worship the Aedra and the Daedra, and I did Clavicus Vile, and one of the first packs that I made with him was to murder 5 people, and you've got an hour to do it.
Clavicus Vile giving you dailies, like murder 5 people in a clown suit.
Pretty much. So, and then another character that I did in Skyrim was a follower of Vermina.
Mm-hmm.
And she requires a lot of murder.
Well, she's the cannibal one, right? The corpse eater?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
From the basement of Dragon's Reach, right? Or something? Ugh, gosh, it's been so long since I played it. Markarth. I was going to say, there's one that you get a blade and you're supposed to murder people, and each murder you do, the blade gets more powerful or something.
Yeah, that's the Ebony Blade. That's the sword that you get out of Dragon's Reach.
Okay. But that's not a Daedric.
Yeah,
artifact.
It's a Daedric sword. But it's not Vermina, it's Bafala.
So we hit your Fallout 4 and the Vortex stuff. We're in Skyrim now. I know you're doing something on the Skyrimatic podcast about apotheosis mods, or apotheosis character builds. I listened to an episode, but I'm not really familiar with it. Skypothesis. Thank you. Wrong word.
Yeah.
So I'm not familiar with Skypothesis.
Yeah, it's it's a couple of brothers, very similar to Fudge Muppet. And they do vanilla Skyrim builds, and they've only been doing it a couple of years, and it was kind of interesting stuff. It popped up in my YouTube feed. So I watched one and I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. And so then I watched a few more. Next thing I know, I watched their entire catalog and started playing their characters. And now Victor and Michael have gotten into it too.
Perfect. Okay, that makes sense. I thought it was something like that, but I hadn't actually looked them up. So that's very cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So, it's helpful. I've got all the time in the world and those guys don't. So
you're curating their experience. You're creating a mod collection for them, or a character build collection.
Yeah. So But yeah, so now the thing I'm worried about, I'm going to have to get a bigger hard drive.
You're going to need a bigger boat.
Uh-oh.
Because if I keep loading these collections in,
We're going to have
it's
to
gonna get
meme
kinda
that.
beefy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely a Jaws reference right there.
Yeah. Yep. Going to need a bigger hard drive. So,
Any other gameplay, Ray?
no, that's about it. I mean, there's just so much in this, in the Nexus. It's just incredible the amount of, Fallout 4 mods there are and just how much fun all this stuff is.
There really is. And Fallout 4 modding, it's neat watching it grow. I'm not on the Nexus as much, because I'm playing on Xbox more, BethesdaNet. But compared to 2 years ago, I feel like 2 years ago when we last did our serious roundtable playthrough of Fallout 4, there were about 12,000 mods available to Xbox. Now we're at about 15,500, 15,700 or so. That's another 4,000 mods that have come in the last less than 2 years, on top of updates and refinements to ones that were already out. It's not like the modding scene has stopped or even slowed down that much.
Yep.
But it's still just sexy seashell bikinis like Ariel from fucking the last.
Yeah, I mean, there's that, but there's also a lot of interesting stuff, and I think we're, with the new AI, and options for modders to have, a better voice acted experience in their mod. I think we'll see even more of that stuff grow.
Fleshing out some of those quest mods. And Andrew, she just wants to be part of your world.
I guess so. Just give her a thingamajigger. What is that? That's that
Thingamabob?
movie, right? Thingamabob.
I
There
got
you
20.
go.
You want thingamabobs? I got 20.
Who cares? No big deal. She wants more.
Yeah, it was. So there is, one of the mods in the package replaces the appearance of 43 female NPCs in the game.
In any way in particular? Like,
I mean, basically all of them.
okay.
And so, Desdemona has this big, huge hairdo underneath a gray longshoreman's cap, and they all have that weird grinning teeth look.
Oh, no. So there was a stylistic choice
Piper.
in the face mod that they loaded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think when I start up the next one, I'll disable that because it's really annoying.
No, that makes sense. This playthrough, I'm going to be using a different NPC face mod than I've used before, too. I mean, I might even cut them out and just do a few. I haven't seen Preston looking normal or Mama Murphy looking like her regular self in years.
Yeah. Yeah, it hit me the worst when I went to see Trash Can Carla. And, she's this, smooth skinned, young woman with the weird grin.
No way.
Yeah. And, coiffed hair. And
But she still has the same voice, right? She's still like, yeah, keep your shirt on.
yeah, exactly.
Oh, my goodness.
So, but yeah, so it's been fun.
Well, good deal. How about you, Jess? What have you been getting into this week?
I've played a little bit of Fallout and a few other games, actually. Doing a quick score check-in. So while we were talking about score,
Yes.
some of our live listeners chimed in with where they're at, too. I figured I would shout them out. We might not be at Scorecation for any of them yet. Scorecation! Let's see what we got. We got Sulior at about 70 or 71 today. So hot on your heels there, Andrew. Lee is at rank 42 on Xbox. Archin's in chat. He just hit 81 on PC, his prime machine, and 56 on Xbox. So he's being a solid achiever on both there.
Yeah. Good on you.
81 is really good. And I think that's all I heard so far. Clint didn't chime in on where he's at. He might be feeling score-tirement this season too. I'm not sure. Also, Archin brings up, looking at Chernobyl pictures and such, it does make sense that some green would creep back in. And that is such a thing we've talked about before, that 200 years later, that the way Fallout portrays the wasteland is a little bit more, near nuclear time, you would think. Now, I mean, perhaps the way the, bombs in this universe disperses and the low yield nuclear, like maybe it stays like heavier in the soil or something. But I mean, you just get more mutated plants, I imagine. So I do think, and we know that it has more to probably do with the engine and how things run and just the overall aesthetic that they want for the wasteland. Yeah. But I do think some green, it gives it that feel, kind of like what you really see in Chernobyl, but also like The Last of Us. And I do like that kind of overgrown and overgrowth apocalyptic scenario. It looks really cool.
Yeah, it definitely makes it a more challenging gameplay because you'll in regular vanilla Fallout you can see stuff for far away, so what's coming up. This stuff you can't see past the tree in front of you. And, you come popping out and, you hear a couple of super mutants and, the beep, beep, beep of a suicider. And you're like, oh, crap, where are they? And there's so many trees that you can't even VATS them because you don't have a direct line of sight on them.
So they're smaller, but there's still a lot of trees in this version.
Yeah.
Some people like trees. I mean, this mod brought to you by the National Arbor Society.
Yeah.
Since we brought up...
It looks good.
Since we brought up rank, a few more people chimed in. Sullivan is at rank 11 on the scoreboard. Thanks for making me feel better, Sullivan. I appreciate it. And Charlene and Clint are at 55. Been away a couple weeks. Well, I mean, the current season, we're only 4 weeks into the new season. So really, you guys up over 50 and higher, I mean, are doing quite well, considering we're 4 weeks in. And I expect this season... they didn't tell us when it's going to end. We don't know, but I think this is going to be a 13 or maybe even 14-week season. We've been having 11 or 12-week seasons a lot lately, and I think we're going back to a longer one for this season, and don't expect it to change till either, last Tuesday in May or first Tuesday in June, most likely.
What would lead you to have that assumption?
Partly the community calendar, the way that it is set up. So you know how they label the different patch updates and such on there?
Yeah.
And we know what's going to coincide with a patch update. Well, let me just open that real quick. So we've got patch 43 coming in sometime in April. And then Once at a Blue Moon and Season 13 is listed under June. Okay, so I feel like if they were planning to launch in May, it would be listed under May. And obviously Season 13, that makes it June. So probably first week of June, you would think. And the thing about that is the first June, what is the first Tuesday? Is it June 6th? I don't have a calendar up right now, but if it's around June 6th, that is 14 weeks from when this one launched. So that's why I'm thinking it's going to be a longer season.
How will the release of Starfield affect any plans in 76, do you think? Does one have anything to do with the other?
Only as far as resource allocation. And we already know that with the 3 extra studios being brought in to work on 76, Double 11 doing a lot of the content, Skybox, and I'm suddenly forgetting the other studio off the top of my head. But with all of them doing various content and stuff for seasons in particular or large events and such, it might affect some of the resources that Austin has, but overall, I don't think so. I think the thing it will affect, of course, is the player base, like we've talked about. It'll draw a lot of Fallout fans away for a while, because I know a lot of us are just Bethesda fans. Mm-hmm. Like we're here talking about Skyrim because of course we are, and we're going to be doing the next thing that Bethesda's putting out too. But that's single player. It's not going to hold people. And so as long as the game keeps going, 3-4 months away, I bet the player base will perk right back up. Maybe not where it was, but close.
It's not going to hold people. Here, let's continue our chat about Fallout 4 from 7 years ago.
I have friends that I'm talking to. Yeah, exactly, right? Because exactly, like we're back in 4 and, there are still people playing. I was talking to a friend though, and it's neat how people have different perspectives. So a lot of people I play with who are into 76, especially in the streaming community, are very much about that community, playing with friends, Fallout with friends is what we got with 76. Well, you don't have Starfield with friends, and you don't have Fallout with friends in 4. And they're like, geez, I feel like Bethesda might be dropping the ball. Why are they doing a single player game again? And I'm like, I think you're misreading like the majority of us who really enjoy the single player. But they're like, well, this is such an evolution and I don't want to go backwards. And so, luckily they have Redfall they can play, and they've got 76 coming, but it's not going to pull everyone away because some people playing 76 are either MMO players and just really enjoy that, or they enjoy co-op and multiplayer and they don't want to lose that playing with friends, or it won't hold them for long if they do.
Just made me think of what would daily quests be like in Skyrim? Like go eat 10 wheels of Eider cheese. Like fuck off.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Yeah, kill 3 mammoths, get knocked in the sky by giants twice.
There you go. That's fun.
Maybe complete. Oh, here's a good one for you. Complete 3 Thieves Guild mission. Find a Stone of Baron Zaya.
Visit the Night Mother 1,200 times in a row. Yes, Mother. So what else are you getting into there, Jess?
So yeah, for my actual gameplay, which, sorry, I digressed there. I just wanted to check in with people who were in chat, sharing their levels and such. 76. So on Saturday, I went and we had the power armor fights at the Gato, the Rock'em Sock'em fights, as it were. And one of the things I love about power armor fights is that they're always so much more even. You get a lot more double knockouts, people just kind of chunking each other, and all that clank, clank, clank while they're fighting. It was a lot of fun. Love seeing people in power armor. And also now there are so many power armor skins that it's almost like a car show, or a fashion show. People popping out like, oh, what are you wearing? Oh, look at this combination of skins. How do these go together? Check out the coloring, I even pulled out some power armor with like some of my favorite skins for a little bit during the thing. So, they do have a Mistress of Mysteries power armor paint now, so I'm happy.
There you go. Does it come with a beret?
It does not, but the beret stays on under the helmet. You can't see it, but it's there. Speaking of which, at the Rock'em Sock'em on Saturday, I had a friend come back. I had given a friend 50 plus berets because he was doing a beret boutique during Fastnacht. And so he was just getting them back to me. He said, I'll get them back to you. I'm like, well, you don't have to, but sure, that'd be great. So he showed up and dropped berets, and I got them with interest. I got like 70 more berets for the 50. They're like rabbits, Andrew. They multiply.
I just don't. Your poor stash limit. I mean, I know they're only 0.1 weight, but
I think they're 0.2.
When you have
maybe they're 0.1,
40,000 of them, that adds up.
It's not room, because I manage my inventory. I got to make room for berets. That's important. But it is scrolling past them. If I want to get to anything in my inventory to wear that's below F, it takes me a solid minute to scroll through the F section.
Why aren't they bundled up?
At this point on Xbox, I probably have. It's not really that many. It's probably like maybe 280 berets. Like, it's not like that is a lot. I guess I have a problem. But
I mean, I could put in a ticket and tell them that we need to bulk berets.
Yes. Oh, that is a good suggestion. I'm going to drop that in the Bethesda suggestion box. Allow us to stack and bulk berets, please. Can you imagine? Oh my gosh, then they probably give me a limit of 99. I wouldn't like that.
Ooh, that cut you off.
But no, I mean, it's obviously, it's a running joke that went too far, but I do enjoy having them. I really do. And I got some on PC, got more on PC a couple weeks ago. And after Fastnacht, this is when I eat good. It's like a Halloween fan the day after Halloween. The day after Fastnacht, I'm getting berets from everybody. So I think they're finally done unloading. But
Jess, I won 27 berets. You want to? Yes.
I can't say no. It's true. So that was the power armor fun on Saturday. Score, I'm at 24, like I said. So that was Saturday was my primary 76 play. I went in and I did some of the challenges on Monday before reset. That's how I got some decent score. But just a few dailies and a few weeklies. I didn't complete them and didn't do as many as I should. And then I was in 76 again yesterday for camps. And we did our everything camp. And this was a fun one. We did a Modus Files theme everything camp.
Oh,
which
fun.
Yeah, it wasn't necessarily the intent. But all 3 camps we showed were kind of Modus Files extended family. So we had Lawrence on again. And he's showing some of the new build for his character, Red, who's finally appeared in the podcast. This is a character that he's had for a while that he was writing for. We finally got to the point where she showed up a couple episodes ago. And so we went into her shelters and saw stuff for her. But then also a guy named One Wall Comedy. Well, he's named Chris, but his channel is One Wall Comedy. He does YouTube stuff, but he does a lot of voices. And so he does some voices on the show. So we got him in. and I got to see his UFO, and I was so happy about his camp because, you guys, I was in heaven. He had a literal pun room. He had a room full of puns. And not like written out puns, but rather, like combined objects to make puns. So for instance, there are a bunch of wolf heads on the little vacuums, and it was a vacuum pack. Awesome. Just the letters I and T on the floor for floret. He had wallflowers. I mean, all the classic stuff. I'm not saying they were great puns, but I was really happy. It was fun.
Well, the materials are limited, so you have to be creative within certain boundaries. So kudos.
No, I love it. It was wonderful. So that was really fun, and on stream, kind of guessing the puns, and you could figure it out first. I figured some out. Chat figured some out. That was a really good time. So we saw his stuff, and he did a UFO. That was really cool. And then also Nobody is an artist. Some people might know him. It's Nobody with an I instead of a Y at the end. And he's done art for Modes Files and a few other shows. And I've never seen one of his camps before. I mean, I'd never seen one of One Wall Comedies either. So it was a couple new people. But it was a really great clutter camp, stacked up. Like my friend Ruck said, you're at a good camp if you got a TV on the roof. Which, I mean, Andrew, you probably have a TV on the roof, right? That sounds like your style.
Who has a roof anymore? It's just stuff everywhere, right?
But yeah, it was a jumble. It was a stack, kind of like a stack shack, where you just kind of keep piling the junk up, and to where you get like a whole kind of structure with like tower of junk, but it was convoluted and clever and stuff. So that was my 76 play, just camps and power armor and stream stuff and a little bit of grinding, but obviously not enough to get there. If I don't work on challenges this weekend with score, I maybe really will be behind. Like so far, I'm not behind. Behind 24 isn't great, but it's okay.
I feel like I missed a double score weekend or something. Have we had one recently?
I think we have another one coming up. So we got the surprise one right at the beginning of the season. And now we have another double score coming up. Let's see, where are we at? Oh yeah, that's 16th to 20th. No, that was just last weekend. What am I talking about? Yeah, we just had that second double score weekend. So if you've played through both of them.
Yeah, I just feel like I'm going so much more slowly this season. So
you are not. I don't know why people feel that way, because I'm hearing that from a lot of people. But I think if we were to look at last season at 3 weeks and 5 days in, you would not have been level 75.
Well, I was really grinding hard. I really feel like it has a lot to do with removing the daily level up thing, because I would just go to West Tech and bam, bam, bam until I leveled up every day. And doing that every day, added up to a lot of tiny little bits of XP, which over time added a good, probably 20 to 30% of my score over the season,
We talked about how for others that's been a positive thing, though, letting them play more at their pace, where they play more, they don't feel like they're stilted each day, they can only play until they're about to level up, that sort of thing. Yeah, I'd have to go back and compare, but I have a feeling at the rate you're going to be on Scorecation within 6 weeks from the launch of the season.
I hope so.
Which gives you at least 6 weeks free, if not, 8, with what I'm kind of guessing we're going to do for the
Do you think there's a person with like a little notebook who jots down these daily challenges, or these sort of like randomly produced by some sort of generator? Like how are these assigned every day?
They've just got a big old list, and I have a feeling at this point they're doing categories. So they have an overall trot that it can pull from randomly on a regular basis. They're probably, who knows what the algorithm is, right? But there's probably things in place to keep it from repeating too often. But I think in order to keep it fresh, they're now having categories where by default, one will reference ops, almost all the time. One will reference expeditions almost all the time. Like not always, but a lot of the time. And, one will be like a plant-based or build-based. And that's not happening every day. Like you have had days without ops, haven't you? At least once or twice so far?
Yeah. Yesterday or the day before, there was no daily ops, but it's still in the weekly. So I still felt like I still needed to go doing daily ops just to keep the get the 5 out of 5 on the weekly.
But yeah, it's just much more open. And with the reroll, the reason I also think categories, because how the first time you reroll, it's quite often the same category related. Oh my goodness. Speaking of challenges, was it today where there a daily said do 10 events?
No, not just 10 events. 10 events well fed. So
right.
You also had to keep an eye on your goddamn food meter. I I don't know if I was bragging or just noticing that, I haven't done a reroll yet this season. I thought I was going to have to a couple weeks ago or last week for the lead champagne Bellini kill a few things while intoxicated by lead champagne, and I was just like, oh fuck, I don't know that recipe, but Casey the Curator came and saved the day, and Angel came and dropped one to me too, so I was very thankful for the help to everyone, but I thought I was going to have to do my first I actually did my first reroll today, because I took one fucking look at do 10 events well fed, and I almost shat my pants. I'm like, are you fucking stupid? What the hell are you trying to make me 10 events in one play session in one day? Are you fucking kidding me? That is ridiculous.
It really is a lot for a daily. I mean, it's not hard. Like, you can easily do it taking a few workshops, doing a few public events. If you play for an hour, you can make that happen.
10 events in an hour? I don't know. I think we need to set up a live stream challenge. Jess, 10 events in an hour. You're only allowed to do like 2 workshops.
If I'm only allowed to do 2 workshops, I'm not going to make it happen with the current event schedule, because then I'll only get 3 or 4 naturally,
Yeah, because they only pop up every 20 minutes now or whatever. Oh, I guess it's not public events. It's all events, so...
No, but it's still, because a lot of the ones you see are daily. So, you're still going to get 3 or 4 in an hour that way, and then you throw in a couple workshops, but you won't hit 10 unless you do a bunch of workshops, I don't think.
Yeah. And I was offended. So I did my first reroll today, and instead of 10 well-fed events, it came up with do 1 event in the forest. I'm like, that is so much better. I will take that all day long. One event in the forest.
One is less than 10.
And it just so happened that the wolf pack thing had just launched. Not the one where you have to kill 3, but the one after that where you just have to go kill the 1. And I'm like, oh, sweet. We'll knock this out in about 30 seconds. That's great. Perfect.
So besides the 76, I did do a lot of Fallout related stuff. So one of my big projects this weekend, I think it was actually Saturday night or Sunday night, I went through and started, looking for the mods I needed for this survival playthrough that we're going to do. Because I'd looked a little bit, but not really. And I was looking through the Xbox mod menu, which, as anyone can tell you, is not the easiest to navigate at all.
I don't love it. That's for sure.
So I went to Bethesda.net because you can find everything there, and you can sort by, Xbox and category. So I spent about 5-6 hours going through mods. I had about 120 favorited. I only had, like this last run, I had about 96 installed or so, but I had a good 120 something favorited. And by the time I was done, I now have like 170, 175 favorited.
Good Lord.
That I sorted through. And I'm doing that just because that way, if they're favorited, you can find them in your list.
Yeah.
And there's actually a mod to make the menu easier to use. So instead of cutting off your favorites, it'll allow you to see up to 150.
Ooh.
Making it easier to scroll and search. Yeah. Install that mod in your Fallout 4 first, restart the game, and now you can see a lot more in your library, which makes it much more usable.
Yeah, cool.
So that's definitely what I'm going to recommend to you. But, I got some good stuff. My goal with this playthrough is to use mods that I don't use. Because I have a base set of mods that I like to use, and Ray's talking about a mod pack and how that makes a lot of choices for you and installs that whole collection. I say mod pack collection; it's called there. And so on the on Xbox, because we have less mods, I have favorites that are always installed. And so for this playthrough, I want to make it maybe only 50% those favorites. You know what I mean? I'm going to try new weather mods. So I'm going to use either Calamity Weathers, which is by Arendelle, who does my favorite Skyrim mod, Surreal Lighting. Or I'm going to use Vivid Weathers, which is really kept up. It's been updated as recently as just a few months ago, and I've never used either. I've always been True Storms. I'm a True Storms girl. I love it. That's Fading Signal, but I want different weather, and I want a different vibe. And same thing with, I'm going to use some different textures. I want it to be, because it's survival, I want it to be a little bit grittier, a little bit darker than I have. I usually go for colorful, and it'll probably still be a little bit. But, I'm not going to use the same, another green mod or, simple green with extra trees that I've used before. I'm probably going to do that Boston Natural Surroundings with pines I mentioned, which is a little bit more sparse. It's got trees, but they're more sparse, a little bit darker, things like that. So I'm building this whole list out, and I got that ready to go. And then on Monday I think it was Tuesday, I deleted, completely got rid of my Fallout 4 install. Cleared my cache, got rid of everything saved on there, only cloud saves, and then completely reinstalled Fallout 4. and reinstalled all the mods and all that on the Xbox. And I know I don't need to necessarily do that fresh, but because a few mods on Xbox supposedly affect the ini file, which some of these things still exist on Xbox even though you don't see them. They're changing some basic settings in it. And with the textures, some things might be overwritten. I just didn't want to take any chances, So I'm doing a fully fresh install on Xbox. And now I've got to get all the mods in order. And I've only got a few of them so far. I meant to do that more this week, but haven't. But that was a whole night doing that. And that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. If you have access to natural and atmospheric Commonwealth.
I've seen that. NAC. Yeah.
That's got some pretty wild weather. So there, rad storms with that, you have to take shelter.
Yeah, that looks really neat.
Or you're going to be cooked. So
one of the mods I was looking at did add
I've used
effects
Vivid
there.
for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And I've used True Storms quite a bit too, but this one I really like.
Okay, that's good to know. Yeah, I've seen NAC and it has a lot of different plugins and modules too.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll take a good look at that because I was leaning towards Calamity just because I like his stuff. But then I said, Vivid is by far the most popular and I've never used it once. So, I was thinking of going that way. But
yeah, that's good too. I do like Vivid.
Mm-hmm. So that's ready to go. Then another night, it's funny. As a quick aside, I've started playing with the Bing AI stuff after I got that invite. What was it, like 4 or 5 weeks ago now? We've brought it to the show a couple times, doing the trivia quiz, doing the bedtime story, having it write our podcast outline for us. Like, this kind of stuff is silly and fun. But the more I play with it, I don't know, I find it really, really interesting. And it reminds me in so many ways of, and when I say AI, of course, I'm talking about the large language model chatbots, not necessarily AI, because there's a bunch of different versions of AI right now, but the stuff that we've been using, bouncing ideas off with it and trying to write stories with it. And as fun as that is, and I spent a couple hours doing that, kind of creating characters, I want to do this, and kind of writing back and forth with it, where you're like, okay, how about if this character is this? And they write that. And I'm like, okay, let's change that. And you kind of tweak it. But at the end of the day, you look at what you did and you're like, how much of that is me and how much of that is the AI? It's not that it feels like cheating, but it's a little bit inauthentic. So I'm kind of now considering how much I want to use it on things, maybe more than an outline or just kind of bouncing back and forth like chat. It kind of makes whatever you make less yours. And I don't want that. So I don't know. I'm still figuring it out. I think everybody is. So how AI is going to affect careers and the workplace and creativity and all that. That's why I mentioned with the AI voice acting too, because you don't want too much of that taking amazing voice actors' jobs. But at the same time, there are certain use cases where it makes sense. And so I've something I've been thinking about a bit, but I'm still playing with it. And it really is so neat. A really cool thing I figured out that you can do with it. Okay, check this out, you guys. Anyone listening who's played with AI, and I won't belabor it too long, but because this is just kind of a fun technology thing, and I know a lot of Fallout fans are into this kind of stuff. If you can design a prompt where you're talking to an AI, and you basically give it a scenario, you can say, I am a traveler from present day going back to, say, the 1890s, and you can pick an event or location and say, acting as a person from that time period, can we go on a tour of this location? I would love to see this, or I would love to meet this famous historical character. And you can then bounce back for the AI, and the AI will act as an actor in that setting. So say you're talking Civil War times, or you want to be in Savannah, turn of the century. And you can actually have them and say, well, what if I want to go out to eat somewhere? And it might actually suggest a restaurant to you from the time, or choose a prominent figure in the area I could meet, and it will tell you. And it's almost like learning history in an interactive fashion. And it's just really neat what you can do to AI. And it all is not, because a lot of times when you're playing a game or, interacting with AI on the web, it's a pre-designed experience for you. Okay. But what's neat about the large language model chatbot and things can actually search is you almost curate your own experience by using a prompt to set up, how you want to, what the parameters are, what the limitations are, how you would like it to act and react and bounce off you. you can then almost design something without being a programmer. And that's just really cool. So I'm still playing with it. And I just wanted to mention that as one of the cool use cases, despite my concerns.
Very cool.
Next thing to try is act as Zax from the from the game Fallout 3. But yeah, so that's been cool. Beyond that, the Fallout 4 and the 76, I played another game called Crimson Spires. It's a fun visual novel. I put a few hours into that, and I do love visual novels. They're a great way to get story, and some of them are really interesting. It's a kind of lighthearted play as opposed to the hardcore role play. So that's pretty much my gameplay. Let's see. What else is on the list? Oh, score check-in. We got Randy in chat now, too. Randy, I think, he says he's at level 9. So good. He's just taking his time, too.
I think that's where he's at in Cyberpunk.
Oh, level 9 is Cyberpunk, not level 9. Okay, people have moved on to Cyberpunk. That makes sense. A lot of fun. We got a Twitter message from a listener named Jake. And I thought I would read this out. Just a different way of looking at things that we hadn't kind of thought of before. So anyway, this is from Jake. And he says, "Hey guys, my name's Jake. I'm a longtime listener of the Fallout feed. I was listening to your most recent episode about Fallout 4 gameplay, and it got me thinking. I know that you guys don't like the main factions that much, and I wanted to propose a new way of playing the story. So I would say, quick editorial there. Some of us, we like different main factions, but, there are some that are better than others. And I think he's talking, people's opinion on Brotherhood or Institute, stuff like that. Anyway, back to what he's saying here. I wanted to propose a new way of playing the story. If you side with the Minutemen and destroy all of the other factions, okay, so do a Minuteman ending, but take out the other factions, you can then join the Raiders in Nuka World. And after, going through Nuka World and joining the Raiders, you can take over the Commonwealth and remove the Minutemen. So you are now, and then you can destroy the Raiders if you want, and you are now in a factionless Commonwealth where you control the settlements, but no Minutemen. You control Nuka World, but no Raiders. And there's no one else competition, which is almost like a Yes Man ending. And I never thought about that.
Oh, nice. Yes Man.
Kind of is the Yes Man ending for the Commonwealth. But yeah, you had mentioned that we got that message, Andrew, so I thought I'd read it while you had to step away for a second.
No, that's very cool. Confused by the don't like the main factions, but it's just the Brotherhood, man. Brotherhood.
Yeah, that's why I edited. But we all have our preferences, and almost everyone is fine with the Minutemen. I like the Railroad.
I've never actually done that thing where you let the Raiders take over the Commonwealth. I don't think. I always felt dirty doing that. A couple of times I've set out to play a Raider style character, but I never actually go through with it. It just doesn't. It's just like it almost feels as dirty as the Brotherhood. Kaboom!
Almost. Oh my goodness. There are such neat endings. I was reading. Oh, I sent you talking about mods. And I know I was basically done with my gameplay and was going to toss to you, Andrew. But that mod that I sent you a link to, it was earlier this week. And what is it called? Is it called Submission or? Hold on, pause, please.
Did you send it in the Fallout feed chat? Where'd you send it?
Yes, it was in our Fallout feed chat. It is called Subversion. The Institute Railroad Alliance alternate ending mod.
Right.
Oh my goodness, what a cool mod, you guys. So it allows you to do that thing that some people have said in order to justify playing as the Institute. They're like, but if you play as the Institute, you can take over. You can change things. Well, guess what? You never can in game. This is all just kind of in your head canon. Like, oh, this is why the Institute's good. But meanwhile, you're kind of going along with their agenda, and you've got to destroy the railroad. You've got to destroy the BOS. In this mod, Subversion, there's actually new characters and dialogue and a lot of different paths you can take. So you can actually work with the railroad, take over the Institute on behalf of the railroad, and go to Desdemona and say, hey, okay, I'm taking this over, but this is where I'm at. And, make peace with them and set it up so that, you're freeing the synths. Or you can do things where you can take out Elder Maxon, replace him with Dance as the Elder.
Huh.
And because Dance is a synth, if you even want to, you could technically have him reprogrammed to, work with the Institute. Like there's various things you can do, all kinds of different endings, new dialogue. And in the actual video for the mod, Like there's some fantastic speeches by the sole survivor about here's our new path. We see Simpsons people, all that stuff. So really neat mod. And while it might be a little bit dangerous playing with a big mod like that in my next playthrough, I think I'm going to add it just because I'd love to see some of this additional dialogue.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Very cool.
Don't know if I'll be playing Institute though. God, can you imagine if I did Brotherhood last roundtable and then Institute this roundtable? I'd just be like, my homies, but my railroad homies.
My poor railroad guys.
Just don't make me go melee again, okay? That's all I can say.
Oh, that's the only way to play Fallout 4. Oh, man.
You can have it.
Oh.
It's okay. We're going to focus on the DLC and side quests and quest mods anyway, so
Quest
no
mods.
big deal. But that is my gameplay, Andrew. How about you?
Speaking of all this mod talk and such, I'm assuming with all the survival talk we've been doing that we'll be doing a survival mode, but then I was thinking, will that cause problems with any mods? Is the survival mode automatically compatible with just everything easy peasy, or like will the survival mode itself with its special rules and such cause problem? Do we need to be careful with what mods we're looking at?
It's something you need to think about, but I don't think you need to be too careful. Right, Ray? I mean, if it's something that'll interfere, you'll know it's going to interfere, and most things won't. If anything, it'll just modify some of these survival, statistics and such.
Yeah, I think that's what usually ends up happening is that they just, the mods that you load change survival. Survival doesn't change your mods.
Exactly. Because survival comes first and other things will supersede it.
Okay. I just wanted to be sure I wasn't going to load something and, boom, crash.
Yeah. And I know that you want it to be not too heavy on the mods anyway, most likely. Although maybe you will. You want to get my list and you'll be like, I'm going to use that one too.
I'm just nervous about having, too many just from past experiences. You get, your character up to level 30 or something, and all of a sudden you start having issues that you didn't see a couple, 10 hours ago of playtime, and all of a sudden you're just like, oh shit, now you have to backtrack and unload mods, reload stuff, do testing, and da-da-da. I just don't want to avoid that sort of stuff. Being not the most technical advanced of people, I get a little tripped up sometimes if things start going sideways.
Right. You don't want that. You definitely don't want to find that out halfway through or
exactly
2/3 of the way through, like Will with the Series S. That is a concern. Fallout 4 these days on the Series S console, for those who don't know, does not run as well as it should. While Series S and X are similar and compatible in many ways, and you would think more powerful consoles would run better, the truth is Fallout 4 on the Series S is crashier downtown than any version of it has been since the first year it was out.
Wow.
As far as what causes that issue, it might be partly if you have FPS boost on, turn FPS boost off if you're having that issue. You can use some of the, insignificant item reduction mods, stuff like that to make it more usable and runnable. But for whatever reason, on the Series S console, if that's what you have, beware downtown in Fallout 4 right now. Until the next gen comes out or there are mods to work around it. So that's why if I'm going to be playing on both my Series X downstairs and my Series S up here in the stream room, I'm going to have to, do some testing and make sure it's going to work.
And what is the new version of Fallout 4 that's coming out at some point referred to as? What is that?
Next gen upgrade is what they're calling it.
Next gen upgrade. Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, TM. I don't know that that's official yet. We'll know when they really announce it beyond the fact that they're doing it.
Yeah. And there isn't zero time frame for that. What's up?
The curator in chat says it's called Starfield.
It is. You are correct about that. They pushed that date yet?
No.
Quarter 1, 2024.
No, they haven't, and they're not going to, Andrew.
Okay, you just keep telling yourself that.
Yeah, not until they can't make the announcement date in June.
And then start watching the calendar pages just flip and flip and flip.
I mean, oh gosh, I can picture that too. Why do you have to describe it so well, Andrew? I'm totally picturing it. Oh my goodness. Well,
happen.
anyway, let's get back to happier news, such as the fact that listening to our show, they announced some kind of sale.
They did. It's like they listened to our goddamn show. I was, complaining that Steam was having their sale, and oh gosh, Fallout 2 and Tactics and Fallout 1 are all, $2. And I was like, oh god, why are they still 10 on, like $10 is a huge investment. But anyway, it's like, I don't want to pay $10 for these old games but it's like Good Old Games is listening, and they just chimed in and said, hey, here's our spring sale too, guys. Hey, look over here. Anyway, right now, run to your Good Old Games website so you can reserve yourself a copy of Fallout 2 for $2.49. And also, I picked up Tactics as well. I don't know if we'll ever get around to that, but I just wanted to have them both under the belt there, just in case we get to roundtables in the future. And then I was thinking, oh gosh, should we just back out on all the plans that we made from last week and all Jess's hard work of all her mod research, and like, oh yeah, let's just roll into Fallout 2 instead, you guys. What do you think about that? But then I gotta get it running and such.
I mean, we could. But as Casey will be quick to tell you, I'm avoiding it.
No, guys, something else. But anyway, Good Old Games doing their spring sale right now. Not sure how long it'll last. Usually a week or two, I think. But Fallout 2, $2.49. Fallout Tactics, $2.99. So I picked both of those up this morning. I jumped on the opportunity. Again, I haven't tried to install or run to see what. I don't even remember. It's been so long now. I don't even remember what I had to do to get Fallout 1 running, but I should just start at that and be like, oh, this is what I did. That's probably what I'll need to do for 2 as well. But so we'll see. I was excited to see that announcement this morning. So yeah, we already talked about my problem with the dailies. The fucking 10 events while well fed fucking blew my mind, so I used my first reroll. 76 also. I didn't notice this before, and maybe it's been going on forever, but one of my things I do when I first log into 76, and it zooms in on my character there, I take my my joystick and I press it in and then pull back to make my camera back out, because I don't like it how zoomed in it is on over your shoulder. So I zoom out my camera all the way, but then I've noticed, I don't know if it's just after this most recent update or just this season, every time I fast travel, it's zoomed in again. And I have to, it only takes 2 seconds to zoom back out every time, but I've just noticed every time I fast travel, I have to zoom out again, zoom out again, zoom. It resets the camera every time I fast travel, so I thought that was really annoying. I just didn't know if anyone else does that, if they do the zoom out thing. So
I haven't seen that happen. No. Myself, you're saying that you actually set it, and after you fast travel, it resets?
Yeah. I'll zoom out, and then I fast travel back to camp or whatever, and I have to zoom out again. It zooms back in every time I fast travel.
And this is in 76?
Yeah, 76. Yeah.
I mean, I guess since I don't play third-person zoomed out, I wouldn't notice as much as some.
Yeah.
But I hadn't ever noticed previously. I'm checking a chat right now, and yeah, Clint says it's been doing the same on PC for him. So it may be a thing.
Is this a new thing, Clint, or have you noticed that before? Because it could be that it's always happened like this, and I'm just now like realizing it, but I wasn't sure. Anyway, from some Fallout 4 play, I've been doing it. 4 play. I've been running down into the glow a little bit. I had to fight off the urge after Ray was talking about Nuka World last week to run over to Nuka World. I'm still not ready to go to Far Harbor or Nuka World yet. I don't know why I'm putting it off, but I'm kind of like saving it or whatever for some, big, when I get really tired of the mainland, really good. But I feel like I'm almost there. I feel like I've gotten a good portion of the wasteland explored there. The Commonwealth, sorry, I was trying to come up with the word Commonwealth. I've got a good deal of the Commonwealth explored now. A lot of locations opened up and all that. So I might be teetering on going over to Nuka World or Far Harbor. I've always been a Far Harbor guy at heart, and I always preferred that of the two. But for some reason, I'm really interested in going to Nuka World first, I think. I'm not sure why, if there's a reason to do one before the other, or if the two interact with each other at all. But I don't like power armor, but Ray was talking about the power armor, so he makes me want to go get my Vem power armor over in Far Harbor as well. And all my swimming stuff that I can do now, that really lends itself to fun Far Harbor experiences too. And then I was also thinking here, you guys, I was talking about how underwater areas are really neglected, I feel. But they still put lots of containers and sunken ships and all sorts of stuff in underwater in Fallout 4. And I keep stopping when I'm swimming to go check out that boat, check out this but there's never, ever anything in them. Like, should I just come up to the realization and admit to myself that they're not going to put anything in there? Stop stopping at these boats. Stop stopping at those containers underground. Just don't waste your time. Is there stuff to look for under there? Because every time I look, it's just, no, there's nothing in this boat. No, there's nothing here. Do you find stuff underwater? Like, I feel like I just need to quit wasting the time. But then I also think, but that's when they're going to have something really cool in one of these safes or whatever underwater.
Yeah, I mean that I think is one of the big. I don't really want to call it a shortcoming, but one of the aggravations with Bethesda games, because I have the same issue with Skyrim, and not just underwater stuff, but just chests in general. They're not leveled by either how difficult they are to reach,
Right.
or how difficult they are to access.
Right. They're not, you just defeated a boss, you just did a really difficult quest. Here is your amazingly fat loot, or your unique weapon, or your named item, or something equal to the battle you just did. It's going to be random. It's going to be random based on level most of the time, unless there's a unique weapon there.
And, the number of times I've picked a master lock only to find 2 gold inside is just maddening.
How does that work programming wise? Is that preset, or when you walk into the cell, it randomly generates the contents, or every time you open that master lock, it'll always be 2 gold?
I think it's randomly generated from the loot pool, but the loot pool doesn't look at the difficulty of the lock that you're picking in order to give you better loot for harder locks.
It doesn't care. Yeah, and that always felt like something you should. Like, if you're something in say in 76, a level 1, 2, or 3 lock, it doesn't make a difference on the loot. A level 3 lock is not any tougher than a level 1. Well, not any better loot than a level 1.
Yeah.
It is a silly thing. It's a silly choice. And it's funny, there are mods to fix that. One mod I was looking at said it added some bosses and added better loot at the end of like tougher quests. And I'm like, yes, that sounds cool. This is exactly the problem we're talking about.
Yeah. Now, that being said, when I did the overboss character, because I was survival, I did Aqua Boy. And I was headed over from Sanctuary over to the robot disposal grounds. And, because I had Aqua Boy, I went through the water. And on the way, just before you reach the shore, there's a chest in the water there. And, it had the typical collection of, some bullets, some caps,
a pen,
a gun. I think it was a 10 millimeter, and a piece of armor. But I had never seen that before, because I've always gone around, because I so rarely have Aqua Boy.
So there is stuff in chests. It's just going to be shitty.
You just doomed him. You just doomed him, Ray, to always checking. He's not going to
now
check
I'm going to
that.
have to check every goddamn waterway. Ugh. This might be totally false, but one thing I have in the back of my head is that Skyrim rewards you more for exploring the weird little nooks than Fallout does. I always felt that Fallout is not scared to have you search for like this weird way to get into this special closet, and then there's not going to be anything in the closet. But Skyrim, if you get up on that ledge and you fucking wander it around the room and then find a ladder behind it, then there's going to be some urns with at least a few caps in it. There'll at least be some reason in Skyrim to find the nooks and cranny, whereas Fallout's not scared to just say, fuck you.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I think that takes up most of my gameplay there. Oh, I did go back to the Prost bar, the Cheers spoof bar. I'd run past there 15 times or something already this playthrough. But I don't know that I ducked in there earlier. But when we were discussing bottles, where to get bottles earlier, we were talking about all the bottling places and everything, and then I didn't even think about looking around in there. I got easily 100 bottles out of that place. There's so many empty bottals sitting around the Prost bar. It was crazy how many were in there. I was really, really surprised.
Have you been into the Boylston Club yet?
Oh no, there's the elite suicide thing.
Yeah, when you go upstairs. Yep.
God, there's probably
bar
tons
up
of
there.
bottles. Where? That's downtown too, somewhere. I don't remember exactly where that is.
It's right next to Swan's Pond.
Oh, so just across the not the Commonwealth. What is that? What is
Boston
that?
Commons.
The Commons. Just across the Commons there. I will have to look that up too. Yeah, I'll run into there. There's still so much stuff I haven't ducked my head into or looked at yet. But anyway, I was running around in the Glow a lot. I ran into an Alpha Deathclaw and stuff like that. It killed me numerous times. I went into that pyramid-looking structure and ran around in there. What's that thing called? Not the Syndicate. I don't even remember what it's called. There's the pyramid building, and if you have the underground tunnels, and you pop up out of this tower on the other side. I found that the Glow is not necessarily that rough of a place to run around in, even in survival mode. As far as the radiation itself is concerned, it's usually only ticking at like 2 or 3 rads per second until you find a pool. If I avoided those highly radiated pools, I found that I didn't really need much rad-X or rad-away or anything. I could run around, get all the way down to the cave. But I almost called him Victor. What's the Virgil? Virgil's not even there if you go there before you're sent there. I was kind of hoping that I'd see Virgil and get to say hi or something, but I poked into his little cave there, and he's not even there. And you can't sleep on a super mutant bed or anything, so I couldn't even save there. It was fucking annoying. I was like, come on, let me at least nap on his tire mattress there. I was kind of irked about that. But everything's still marked stolen, so you can't even take anything either.
I just want to jump in with a couple, comments from chat, which stuff we're aware of, because you're talking random chests. But Clint jokingly says, there's a whole submarine underwater if you know where to look. Like, yes. Yes, the Yangtze, there is that. And then Archon says, there's a chest in the lake right next to Sanctuary. That's true. There is a chest down there with loot. There is power armor in the big lake to the east. And they're naming bodies of water with stuff, but there's not much in random things underwater.
What's the little town you have to take the test to get into?
Covenant.
Yep.
Yeah, there's that crash vertibird with power armor right next to that one too.
There's some good scrap in the water behind right behind Taffington Boathouse there too, speaking of near Covenant.
Hey, where do you get the marine wetsuit helmet and stuff? That's underwater somewhere. That's in Far Harbor somewhere.
That's Far Harbor, yeah.
Yeah. That's
when
underwater.
you do the Dima quest.
Dima, right. So, okay guys, there's stuff underwater, but the point is
Yeah.
you are remembering specific instances.
Yeah.
And those stand out because It's so rare to find good stuff underwater that you remember,
Yeah.
oh, here's this spot, this spot, this spot, and this spot. It's not like all these random boats I'm stopping by, I'm finding good stuff in,
Right. Yeah. When you're swimming up the Charles River, there's boats everywhere underwater.
And nothing in them.
But yeah, nothing in them.
It's Schrodinger's boat. It both has loot and doesn't have loot till you check it, Andrew.
That's true. Who knows? It has loot until I look, and then it takes it away.
And so the interesting thing is that so evidently the early settlers to the area all were
looted everything.
divers,
There you
and
go.
so all of the loot underwater was salvaged.
They all had Aqua Girl too.
And they just never got around to salvaging everything up on land.
Well, it's dangerous up there on land, Ray.
Clearly.
There's no monsters underwater, so you can swim around all you want.
Yeah. Yeah. So the underwater's been picked clean.
It has.
And the only place you can find junk is above.
It's all those damn mire lurks. They're down there looting all my boats first. Those bastards.
Oh, yeah. They're like magpies.
Shiny. Ugh. So, Jess, how's Person of Interest? You wrap that up yet? You finished that?
I am in the final season. I did finish season 4. I'm 2 episodes into season 5, which is only, I think, like 11 or 13 episodes long. It's a half season.
Nice. Well, good
So
deal.
not quite done yet. But yeah, it's still awesome. So glad I'm rewatching it. What a great show.
Yeah, you've got
and
my
I'm probably going to
interest
watch
peaked.
Fringe next, too. I've been told by some friends that I need to check out Fringe because I've never even seen an episode. And people are like, oh, this is a sci-fi show that you missed. It's got some good hard science in it. It's really creative. Like, when that was on, I was watching things like Eureka and Warehouse 13 and, naming these other sci-fi shows. And a girl can only have so many shows. You know what I mean? There's only so many hours in a day. So
I remember
yeah,
Fringe
and-
being good. That's the kid with his dad and stuff, right?
Yeah, Pacey from Dawson. That's how I know the actor. I'm like, oh, that's Pacey from Dawson's Creek. So,
The Dawson.
I'm going to check it out.
Good deal. Well, I wrapped up my Sopranos run. I did notice something in the final episode. Spoiler alert for anyone who's planning on watching Sopranos, even though the show's fucking 20 years old. Get over your spoilers things here. But I was rewatching, finishing up Sopranos, and I noticed that there's this flashback scene that Tony is with Bobby Baccalieri at their lake house, and they're out on a boat, and they're talking about how when you die, what it's like and all that, and Bobby says something like, you probably don't even hear it, do you? You don't hear it coming, do you, at all? And then Tony's like, why don't you ask your friend up on the wall over there, referring to the mounted deer head. And so, like, yeah, you don't even hear it coming. That deer head didn't hear any shot coming. You hear the shot after after it hits you, basically, is what they're saying. But the way Sopranos ends is always left very open-ended, where Tony and his family are at a restaurant, and you just see a door open, but you don't see who's coming in, and it just cuts to black, and it's done. But I had never really paid attention that closely, and I wasn't, that scene, that flashback scene that they hit really spoke to me and said, oh, Tony's fucking dead, because he didn't see it coming. He just, the door open, you don't even hear it coming before it hits you. And that cut to black, is the boom and end of times right there. So that's something I noticed that I hadn't ever noticed before. And then I was like, wow, that's great. You go back, you watch these old shows, and I'm still finding stuff that I never really saw before. But I thought that was fun. I really enjoyed my Sopranos run, even though the last 2 seasons do get a little, here we go. Yes, I was kind of ready to be done with it. But when it was done, I was really glad that I did the rewatch of it. But anyway, I needed a new show, and I mentioned last week I wanted to spin off into like Heroes or Lost or some, like sci-fi silly stuff.
Okay.
But I started Lost, and I'm just like, holy shit. This show is fucking awesome. And then
The first 3 seasons especially.
oh my God. Everyone complains about Lost like they do the last couple seasons of Game of Thrones, like, oh, it gets so bad. But, I just really, really am enjoying Lost. And I always thought, oh, there's such a sci-fi show and everything. But really, I'm realizing it's a soap opera. It's a survival soap opera with a little bit of sci-fi here and there tucked in every episode. There's the monster, the polar bears, and stuff like that. I just got to the Hatch. I love John Locke and his Hatch stuff. That's always really fun. But it just made me
trying to get into
realize
the vault, Andrew.
They
It
are.
has that Fallout feel in a way.
does,
I mean, when they're stranded, it becomes almost like a post-apocalyptic scenario.
But
They're having to scavenge to survive.
it just really reminds me of when I was a kid. I used to love to read my dad's old Reader's Digest. Do you guys remember that little magazine, the Reader's Digest? I don't know if that exists anymore. No magazines exist anymore. But I wouldn't read the hard politics articles and stuff. But I only ever read. They always included a story of survival, like a nature story, like I survived a shark attack, or I got snowed in a cabin and had to survive. Like there was always some aspect of survival in there, and I was just like, this is really. I always loved those stories. I was like, wow, Lost is really hitting those same spots for me. Like, I love these stories of survival, having to overcome man versus nature, that sort of
It's
stuff.
why
really
Survivor still has viewers in year. What are we in? Survivor season 74. Survivor
Yeah, no
season
shit.
like 110 right now.
But I don't know what the difference is, but I have zero interest in survival or Naked and Afraid or Man versus Nature and like all those sort of reality shows. I don't know why. I'm not really interested in those, but I love
Probably because we know how reality they are.
Yeah. It's when it's set up with there's a cameraman there, that person is not going to die. You know what I mean? There's the cameraman is not going to let the person actually meet any danger. But anyway, I'm really enjoying Lost so far. I'm probably getting near the end of season 1 if they found the hatch. I don't know if that's a season 2. I might be in the first part of season 2. I don't even remember where the break is, but having a really good time with Lost and really enjoying that. And I couldn't find anywhere to watch Heroes because I don't have the Peacock streaming service. Like I was bitching about last week, how everything was.
You're probably
all
better
these
off.
disparate-
You don't need that pain again.
Oh.
So watch season 1 and pretend it ended there.
No, come on. There was like 4 seasons of that show, wasn't there? I don't know.
No, only one. I just said.
She killed it, everybody. But anyway, I went to my library's request page and put in a submission that they buy Heroes. I can't believe they didn't have it. Like my library has lots of stuff, the TV show collections and all that, but they didn't have Heroes for some reason. So I put in a purchase request that they pick up the complete series of Heroes. So hopefully by the time I wrap up Lost, they'll maybe get around to getting Heroes for me. So there's a little bit of the pop culture I've been consuming this week. But yeah, that's pretty much all of my gameplay, you guys. Jess, I see you prepared us a little bit of a game called Rave Reviews. Did you want to get into
Rave Reviews.
Did you want to get into a little bit of a what time is it? Game time. Game time.
Let's go and play a game. So I previously, like a year ago, I think, I've make games that I forget them. But I remember I did a game once where I would read from a review and you guys would guess which game it was about. Okay, which of the Fallout series it was about.
Oh,
and
Lord.
I think we did that with friends on. It was one where we had a couple of people. That was really fun. I'm revisiting this idea. Now, to be completely honest, I yanked this idea from the Giant Bombcast. They recently did a game similar to this. And the idea is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go through the Fallout games and some of their DLC. And I'm going to, basically tell you the Metacritic. And then you're going to guess if the next game on the list or the next DLC on the list is higher than that score or lower than that score. And we're going to go through the games and the DLC. Okay. Now, in order to keep it fair, and no pulling it up in the background, in order to keep it fair, I'm using PC versions only. So, full disclosure, the Xbox and PlayStation versions often score a little bit higher. So these are going to be a little bit lower. But we'll go through, and on Giant Bomb, they just did it with, I think it was recent releases, and they kind of are going back, and they weren't doing it just a series. But I'm like, you know what, for us, we're going to do it with the Fallout series. So are you ready to play Rave Reviews?
Is this like the Alpine Climber game on... what was that Bob Barker show? That's Bob Barker hasn't been on in 20 years. Price is Right.
Price is Right.
Okay, so
Similar,
we need to say if it's higher or lower
Yep.
Game.
And I will guide you guys. You'll get it pretty quickly.
Okay.
But for the very first one, obviously you can't be higher or lower. So I'm going to say the closest to it gets the point. And that way you guys will start out uneven in the points tally. So I would like to hear from you, Ray. What do you think the Metacritic was for Fallout, a nuclear role-playing game?
Okay, so
First of all, what's their scale?
what's the range? Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry, you guys. 1 to 100. It's a 1 to 100
okay.
point scale. Yep. And what Metacritic is an aggregate. Like a lot of times I'll use OpenCritic, but I use Metacritic for this. And so it's an aggregate of highly rated sites, authorities on games, publications, and it'll take a number of different ratings and then do an aggregate score. Like this is the average. So you might have a place like IGN might give something a 90. And then, say Polygon or Destructoid might give it like a 70. And so then your average would be 80. But of course, there's a lot more in the aggregate on Metacritic. So we're going with the aggregate average.
So I'll say 74.
Okay. And Andrew?
Let's do that the dick move on The Price is Right, and I'll say 75.
Wow. Well, Andrew and his dick move gets the point.
Nice.
So, I believe it or not, Fallout, the original, got an 89 on
What?
Metacritic. 89.
All right, we have to keep in mind that was at that time as well.
Yes, yeah, it's going back, and of course, the reviews that have stood the test of time and are still around, because Metacritic wasn't around back then, so it might not be able to look at as many reviews on some of the older games.
Oh,
So
I
let's
see.
now
Okay.
go to Fallout 2. I'm going to ask each of you. Andrew, you're going to go first. Do you think Fallout 2 scored higher or lower?
See, everyone says it's the best, so let's go with higher, just because that's the general public consensus nowadays. But I don't know what it would have been when it came out, even though Metacritic probably didn't exist back then. So let's just go with higher.
Okay. And Ray, you can still say the same, higher or lower?
I'm going to go higher +1.
Dick.
Doesn't work that way. That's only for the very first one. It's no longer closest.
Ah, dang it. Okay, just higher then.
It's going to be
Okay.
lower now.
So that Fallout 2 scored lower. It got a Metacritic of 86. So still pretty good, but
still feel
3
that's
points
high.
less.
Are we supposed to if you impose this onto the American grading system, 190 is in the A range, in the 80s is a B, 70s is a C?
no,
that type of thing?
that's one of the big problems with game scores, and that's a whole nother big thing. In that, if 50 is average, but when you're talking about game reviews and criticism, generally speaking, people think of 70 as average specifically
Yeah,
because of the
because of the
U.S.
C.
grading system.
Right.
Whereas, as an aggregate, it is not only doing things on a 100-point scale, it's also doing 1 through 10, and it's also doing lots of sites do 1 through 5 stars.
Okay.
So, in other words, a 3-star, perfectly average, that would be a 60 on the 100-point scale.
Mhm.
Okay, so you can think of it a little bit that way, but it's kind of warped. Think of 60 to 70 as being average to slightly low average, and so a lot of scores are going to be in the 70 to 100 range.
Okay.
Okay, so no points there. Fallout 3. We're going to start with you, Ray. Was Fallout 3 higher or lower than Fallout 2?
I'll go with lower.
Okay. And Andrew, higher or lower for Fallout 3?
It's got to be higher, right? Come on.
Final answer?
Yes, higher.
Ding for Andrew. It was higher. Another point for Andrew. Fallout 3 got a 91 Metacritic.
Wow.
Yep. It was very well received overall. This is the PC version, but I think, if I remember correctly, I don't have Metacritic up anymore, but I think the Xbox version was like 93. It's a very popular game.
Not to get too far off the track, but you mentioned that console versions generally score higher. What accounts for that than the PC version?
I would say it's because of less variables. Okay, the PC people may be a little bit more critical and have higher standards. Maybe it's that, right? But it could also be that, with a specifically curated game experience, everyone is going to, it's easier to design a game that's going to play well on the specific system it's designed for, whereas computers have all the different video cards and variables there that might cause people to have a different experience.
Okay. I get
That
that.
makes sense? I just bullshitted that, but it sounds right?
Well, since I don't play PC, I have no idea, but sure, sounds good to me.
Yeah. And
Okay.
variety.
Going down the
more
list.
options.
Yeah, exactly. Going down the list, we're going to go to Operation Anchorage. Higher or lower? You go first this time, Andrew.
It's got to be lower. Got to be lower.
Okay. And Ray, what do you think?
Yeah, I'll go lower.
Wow.
You guys are correct. Operation Anchorage got a 65 Metacritic average. 65. People were not as impressed after the high of Fallout 3 with that one.
It's just hard to be above 91.
It really is. It really is. Okay, Ray, coming to you. Broken Steel came next. Was Broken Steel higher or lower than Operation Anchorage?
I'll go higher.
Okay. And you, Andrew?
Also higher, yes.
Ding ding. You guys are correct. It scored an 81 Metacritic. 81, so nice into the pleasantly good range.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not great like the rest of the game, but they're like, oh my god, Fox will actually go into the reactor for you, and you're not immediately dead, and we can continue the game. This is great. 81.
Oh, nice.
Let's each get a point. Okay, I'm going to keep going down here. Keep going down. Next up is The Pit DLC. And Andrew, I think you're first on this one.
Let's see. Broken Steel was 81, so we'll go lower than 81.
Okay. And Ray?
Lower.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Good job, y'all. The crowd is impressed.
Oh, that was impressed. I thought they were screaming like, "Oh God,
Yeah,
no!"
no, they were cheering you on.
Okay.
They were very happy. Okay. So yes, Pit got 78. So not much lower, but it was lower.
Close. Yeah.
Okay. Let's keep going. We're going to keep going DLC. And I know the DLC is a little bit harder. Like, this is a little bit more variable. But this way, there are about 15 total here, or 18 total because I'm going through everything. So we'll see. Next to Point Lookout. Ray. I don't remember who's first in this one. It doesn't really matter. You guys both get to choose either way.
Yeah.
So, Ray, was Point Lookout higher or lower?
I'll go higher.
I'll go lower.
Okay, they're split on this one. And Andrew?
Oh no! Wait,
Yes,
that was
point to Ray.
that was the good bum bum bum, right? The positive.
No,
Positive
that was the. I'm so sorry, Andrew. But Point Lookout got a 79, one higher than the
goddamn
Pit
point.
at 78.
1 point.
Yep, so we're here at 79. Okay, and then to round out our Fallout 3 DLC experience, Andrew, was Mothership Zeta higher than Point Lookout or lower?
Higher. Got to be higher, right? Everyone loved that alien stuff.
Absolutely coming in higher. And Ray, what do you think?
I'll go higher as well.
And no.
Ouch.
Mothership Zeta was a pile of when it
Was
came
it?
out in a lot of people's opinions, and it got a 68.
Yeesh.
Yeah. It has its fans now, and it's got some cool aspects, but I feel like that was the one people were the most down on. Even though technically Operation Anchorage got a 65 and a little bit lower, I feel like people were more down on Mothership Zeta. We got Sullivan playing along in chat. That's awesome. Sullivan, I hope you're keeping score at home. Then you can tell us if you beat Ray and Andrew or not. Okay.
For the home
coming
version
in
of our game.
back to the main games. So we've got New Vegas out next. Okay, New Vegas is next. Now, I feel like it would be too easy to be like, was it higher or lower than Mothership Zeta? Well, we'll do it anyway. That's in there. I was going to say maybe go back to Fallout 3 and just go back to main game for this one. But let's go. Was it higher or lower than Mothership Zeta, New Vegas, Ray?
Higher.
Yeah, I agree. Higher.
Level up. Good job, you guys. It was indeed higher. It got an 84 on release on PC, an 84 Metacritic, which is significantly lower than Fallout 3. I think over on Xbox and PC, this is another one where it got maybe 86 or 87 there. But keep in mind, New Vegas had a lot of bugs and issues when it first released, and it was only over time that it became the, darling of the Fallout crew that it is now.
I get it.
Okay. Next DLC, Honest Hearts. This is one that both of you have played. Andrew, was Honest Hearts higher or lower?
Then New Vegas at 84. Let's go. Honest Hearts. Let's go lower.
Okay, Honest Hearts lower than 84. And Ray?
I'll go higher.
Ooh. Nope, Andrew got the point on that one. Honest Hearts was at a 66.
Whoa, it got trashed.
Not as well received on that one. Nope. But now we go into Dead Money.
Is that the
Everybody's
lowest one
favorite.
so far? No, Operation Anchorage was lower. Okay. Sorry,
Yep.
what was the next one?
The next one we're going into is going to be Dead Money. And Ray, you can go first on this one.
Dead Money, I'll say, is higher.
Okay. And Andrew, what do you think?
That's the one that fucking everyone hates, though, right? But it's 66 is such a low number. That's got to be higher than 66, right?
Both of you got the points on that one. Good job.
But Dead Money is the
Okay.
one everyone hates. I've never actually played it, right?
It's the one that, I mean, some people really love it, but yeah, it's the one that people complain about a lot because it is so severe with the stealth and the beeping and the radios and taking away all your loot. Like, it is definitely a different experience if you're not ready for it.
I forgot to write its number down. What was its...
Dead Money is 70. Dead Money is 70, so just a little higher.
All right.
Next up, we have Old World Blues. Andrew, is Old World Blues higher or lower than Dead Money at 70?
That's going to be higher. Got to get me in the 90s, baby.
Okay. And what do you think, Ray?
I'll go higher.
Oh, that one didn't play. Play. It's mad at me. I said I did too many. Yeah. Okay, that is correct. You guys are both correct. I was trying to do big applause. Big applause. Old World Blues came in at an 82, so we're back into the 80s with that one. It was very well received.
Nice.
People loved Muggy. People loved the doorknobs. They loved the computers. Good time was had by all.
I don't get those references.
Because you haven't played it yet, but you will one of these days.
We'll get to it.
And we're going to wrap up the New Vegas DLC with Lonesome Road. Ray, is this the road that people wanted to wander higher than Old World Blues or lower?
Oh, 82
I'll
is
go
a
lower.
tough number. Yeah, it's got to be
And-
lower than 82, right? Yeah.
You guys are both correct. It came in at a 57.
Oh, Lord, that's the lowest ranked thing yet.
That is the lowest thing yet. Are you writing these down, Andrew? That's awesome. I'm glad.
Well, I have trouble remembering 30 seconds ago, so I need to remember, compare it to the previous number, you know?
Well, that concludes the New Vegas section. So now we come fast forward your brains. Go to 2015 and a fun little game called Andrew. I skipped Fallout Shelter on my list. I just realized.
That's the best Fallout game. How could you skip it?
I don't know. It's not on the list. I think I get -1 points for that one.
It gets 100 anyway, so, I mean, it would be above. It doesn't matter what game you said, it would be above. Oh.
Okay, going to Fallout 4 next. Andrew, is Fallout 4 higher or lower than Lonesome Road?
Well, people bitched about it incessantly, but I still feel it's got to be bigger than 57.
And what do you think, Ray?
Higher.
Yes, indeed, you all. Well played. Fallout 4 came in at an 84 Metacritic. So, same Metacritic as New Vegas on PC. Keep in mind, this is the PC versions we are talking about here. Since there are multiple, I wanted to kind of keep it fair and even. Okay, next up was Automatron. Ray, was Automatron higher or lower?
Lower.
Okay, and Andrew?
Let's see, 84. Let's go lower as well.
Wow.
You guys are good. Very impressive. Yeah, Automatron came in at a 67 when it came out.
Oh,
Kind of continuing and you'll notice an interesting trend here, okay? That
the first
I can stop
DLC
talk about
gets-
this.
Yeah.
First DLC is lower every time. And it's because people are loving the game, high expectations, and first DLC comes out, they're like, I wanted more for an expansion. You know, but then they end up getting it later usually. So, point to each of you. Okay, next up after Automatron, I didn't do the contraptions and the, wasteland workshops and that
Wasteland
nonsense. So we're going
Workshop.
right to Far Harbor. Andrew, was Far Harbor higher or lower?
It's got to be way higher. Far Harbor. It was beloved.
And Ray?
Yeah, I'll go higher.
Absolutely, but only 79. Only a 79.
I was going to say that it might be higher than Fallout 4, but I guess not.
Yeah, I think on Xbox it was maybe like an 80 or something, but I think Fallout 4 itself was like an 87 on Xbox.
Wow.
And PlayStation, I think, are out of there at the same time. It's funny, both consoles came in similar. They're usually within 1 point of each other. PC had a little bit wider variance with often 2 or 3 points below, but sometimes just 1. And in a few cases, not every case was console higher. In a few cases, the PC was higher, but much fewer. Okay, and finally, winding up our Fallout 4 experience, Nuka World. Andrew, was Nuka World higher or lower?
79 is a tough one to compare to. But okay, see, Automatron was the first one, so that's lower. Far Harbor 78. Well, yeah, let's go lower. Let's go lower.
Okay, lower for Nuka World. And Ray, what do you think?
I'll go higher.
Ooh, it was lower. 74 for Nuka World, so a little bit lower.
That's this fucking Star Course.
Yeah, maybe it was the Star Course, or maybe people didn't want to be a raider. They're like, I don't want to be a
I
raider.
don't want to be a raider, mama.
They didn't spend enough time in the Nuka-Cade. They weren't fans of John Caleb Bradburton. Whatever it was, a little bit lower.
Gauge and his squirting.
So now, fast forward once again. The year is 2018. Anticipation is high. A new Fallout game is on the horizon. Huzzah, say the people. It's only been 3 years, but they want more because Fallout fans are always hungry. And then it's always online. Boo, say the people. What did Fallout 76 score? Higher or lower than Nuka World?
Who's up?
Let's do Ray first.
Lower.
And Andrew?
I would have to say lower as well.
Yep, that's kind of a no-duh situation. Fallout 76 comes in with a Metacritic of 52 on PC.
Ouch. Ouch. That's even worse than Lonesome Road.
That is the lowest yet in the Fallout franchise at 52.
Wow.
That was on PC. I think console versions might have been higher, but I mean, they were all down there. They were living in the toilet. It was not the best, not the best. And keep in mind, this also includes the review bombing. So not only was the game poorly received, but also the fans who were slighted and unhappy about 76 got in there, and they were all, while Metacritic uses, this isn't a listener score, this is a review score, so obviously these are legitimate publications. Even some legit publications, I feel like, had some fanboyism going over about 76.
There's some toxic reviews out there, man.
And finally, the final one in the category, because I don't have Still Dawn or Rain, as a Metacritic, as a standalone release, since they were more, they were released twice and it's more like a patch update, like some of the other stuff. We have Fallout 76 Wastelanders as the one, like, true full expansion to 76. Andrew, was it higher or lower?
It can't be lower. It's got to be higher.
And Ray?
Yeah, higher.
Absolute cheers. Bringing in the game with a fantastic finale. Yes, it was higher at 69.
Nice.
69.
Nice. Okay, you guys, that was Rave Reviews. Final tally on the scores. By the way, well played, you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. It was a little bit something different.
Yeah, that was a great game. That's fun.
Only kind of game you can only play once, unless you forget. Wipe the slate clean in a year and you'll be like, I don't remember. Let's go. We have Andrew at 16 points, and Ray at 13 points. So Andrew did win this one.
Nice.
Woo-hoo.
And that was how many total questions?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16.
19, I think.
19 is my count. Yeah.
Yeah, so you got all but 3, Andrew, and all but 6, Ray. Well played.
Well, good game, Jess. Thanks for tossing that together.
Oh, Sullivan missed 3 too. He tied with you.
Sullivan, we need to go mano-a-mano, duke this one out.
And have a great weekend, Randy. Randy in chat is bipping out. Sulior is home from work, so welcome back in, Sulior. I love seeing chat come in and go. Thanks for playing along, guys. I hope you enjoyed that one.
Thanks for hanging out, guys. That was great, Jess. Thanks for the game. Do we have a little bit of iguana bits to get into tonight?
Just a little this week. Not much to belabor here. So, first of all, spoke too soon. Last week, you asked me a little question. Jess, double mutated events. We got double mutated ops weekends. I'm like, nope. So far, public events not included with the double mutations. I haven't heard anything about it. We've got double mutation weekends on the calendar, but not for events. Well, the PTS opened back up yesterday, and there are now they're testing double mutated events in the public test server.
We don't want this. What are you doing?
It's funny. We were all concerned about how the mutated events would actually go, and it turns out overall they were pretty positive. People were mostly cool with it. A lot of people showed up. Like I said, it was more fun with a full server. And I'm actually seeing on Reddit and other places, people are like, man, why they bring these cool things like Nuka World on tour every hour, or like mutated events, and now they're gone again, and people are grumping about it.
Huh.
So overall sentiment towards mutated events have been positive. Do you feel differently, Andrew?
No, it actually hasn't been a bother at all. Really,
Yeah.
the only time it's annoying is when they have the invisible one where you can't really see him. And
Cloaking is a pain, and resilient can be a pain, but you're melee, so you don't mind.
Yeah. And let's see, the one where they heal each other. If not enough people show up to the event, that can make it a little bit of a hassle too.
Yeah, can you imagine that with eviction notice, where they tend to spawn in the same area, so you get a cluster of 3 at once over a crest of a hill or something?
Yeah, but
I can see that being really difficult.
But generally, these events were so well attended that it didn't matter anyway, because there's a bunch of people to help you out.
Yeah, I think that's what I like about them. And also, I feel like that's why some people are, grumping that they're gone, is because now they're like, well, geez, nobody's showing up public events again.
Yeah.
Because, anything new always gets people excited. But keep in mind, the plan currently is a week on, week off. So they should be back next week. I've seen mixed things. I've seen some people, I believe the final official thing on the website said it was going to be every other week for now. Originally, I had read 2 weeks on, 1 week on, 2 weeks off. But it seems like right now the plan is every other. So hopefully, or maybe we'll see them next week after Tuesday.
Sweet.
Let's see. Okay, next thing on the list. Where's the roadmap, guys? I wrote down where's the roadmap and does it matter?
And you wrote it doesn't matter, and I'm like, oh yeah, roadmap. So I guess it doesn't matter, because I was like, well, huh.
Well, and the roadmap is what we're going to expect for the year, and I kind of went over it. You guys might remember in the middle of January, kind of going over all the old dates and how we got 2 of the roadmaps around February 21st, 22nd, one of them March 22nd, and then finally, right after Wastelanders, it came out May 14th. That was the latest one. Well, we're now past March 22nd, so all the regular years, regular roadmaps, we have gone past with no roadmap. So, that's a little bit not concerning, because we know they're continuing with the game and things are going, generally well. They had a 5-year plan last year, supposedly, and stuff coming up. And I'm sure they're sticking to it. They've got the other studios working. But why haven't we got a roadmap in that case? Do you have any theories on that, Ray?
Not really. I mean, I think that... it may be that they're just trying to see where everything's going to lay out, in regards to everything that they've got going on with Redfall and Starfield. And
yeah, they have a lot.
Where are we going to drop stuff in so that, they don't get obscured?
That makes sense. That they're not only coordinating with the game itself and the studios working on it, but also their other launches and stuff happening.
Yeah,
that actually makes really good sense. That's a good theory. Did you hear that, Andrew?
What's that? Sorry.
We are looking at maybe why it's delayed, if there's a reason. My thought behind it, Ray was talking about how with a lot going on this year, like they got to coordinate with their other stuff too. Bethesda's focused on Redfall and Starfield and all of that. So where those are landing and make sure things, they pop at different times. I figure with having multiple studios working on it now, as opposed to just, all in BGS Austin, it's a little harder to get everybody together, everybody on the same page and kind of, have a meeting where like, okay, this. They've got to say, which of our deliverables can we get done? But every studio has to chime in and they've got to coordinate like a larger number of people at broader locations. So I feel like that might be part of it too. As far as what we expect this year, we might get a story expansion and we might get another expedition, a couple new missions with the new expedition location as hoped we do. And then, some new events and maybe something awesome like Nuka World on tour again. I hope we do, but I don't know, because we're a third of the way through the year. Well, we're a quarter of the way through the year. I shouldn't say a third. We're only in March. It's not even done yet. But what do you think, Andrew?
I was going to ask Ray a question. Hey, Ray, what would it take you to be invested into Fallout 76 again?
I think probably another, interesting storyline.
Did you even play the Brotherhood stuff?
I did, yeah.
You did? Okay. I still haven't. I
I'm
haven't
like you.
played that.
Yeah, that's actually partly why I had the follow-up line. I was going to say what it takes for Ray to get invested to be a new roundtable. or
A new round. Yeah,
actual good story.
us forcing him into
Us
playing
forcing him.
twisting his arm. You are going to play this, Ray.
But yeah, the reason why I put doesn't matter is because with, the way Fallout was rolled out last year, assuming last year is kind of the blueprint, the pattern for what's to come, we get 2 or 3 new public events. We get an expedition with some story attached. And then we get maybe one cool new server edition, like Nuke World Tour. So not like a full story patch DLC, but like something new to the server that adds to the story.
Yeah.
In some fashion. And if that's the blueprint, and we get that again this year, that's something. That's not bad. I do still hope that one of these years, and hopefully in the next couple, this year or next, we get another major story expansion of some kind, a la Steel Dawn Reign or Wastelanders. We'll probably never get one as big as Wastelanders again.
Yeah.
But I hope we get something. And, the Enclave ending we talked about before, way back, like, eventually bring in the Enclave and have them wrap up and kind of tidy up the bow on Appalachia and why there isn't much there, as far as we know, in modern Fallout times, 200 some odd years later. Archon mentioning, there's a chance we'll end up in New Jersey for a follow-up expedition, mentioning the Jersey Devil is on the scoreboard. And that's true. This scoreboard this season, have you guys taken a good look at it and some of the stuff in the margins?
No, the only 3
Andrew?
squares, the only, there's 4 squares I've clicked on. One of them was the special shotgun, the cold shoulder or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other 3 have been the plus 10%, plus 10%, plus 10%. And I haven't collected anything or looked at the stuff. I hear that there's a fiddle. Right, you guys.
What I'm talking about is not the rewards. I'm talking about the rewards. I'm talking about the doodles and the drawings on the scoreboard itself.
The actual art. No, I haven't. I have not. Gandered.
So Archon mentions the Jersey Devil, which is a good point. But it seems like they have a number of different cryptids, a lot of which are kind of West Virginia region in general, but a little bit more extended, a little bit more far-ranging. So, for instance, they have a creature called the Squonk.
Hello, Rumple. Alex, swing. Go on.
Which. Oh my goodness. The crying pig, the Squonk, is over on the right. That's a funny cryptid with kind of, it's a pig with a man-like face that's always crying tears, always sobbing. They have something called like a Yugo, which looks like a huge snapping turtle, or a Yugot. I don't know much about that one. I looked it up, but I don't quite remember. There's a creature that's kind of long and spindly. Some people think it's a chupacabra. I think it might be a reference to Veggie Man, the tall and spindly vegetable man in West Virginia hills. There are a lot of interesting cryptids on the scoreboard. So the fact Jersey Devil is on there could be indicative of spreading out in the region, or it could just be they were looking for a number of different cryptids to have. But that is a cool reference. I like the fact that they've added all the extra cryptids there, not just the ones we have in game.
Sweet.
So that's my Where's the Roadmap Doesn't Matter segment. I do hope we get one soon, but I'm thinking if they stick with the blueprint, it might not matter that much. Just tell me when there's something exciting, and I'll be happy. And if you're not going to give us anything exciting again, tell me that so I don't keep my hopes up too much.
No, they're not going to tell
Thank you.
that. They need to have you on the hook still.
Please tell me if I should keep spending atoms so I don't spend atoms on a game that's not ever getting any updates. Sincerely, Jess.
That's something I have to decide by next week or 2 weeks from now. Is I just got my notification that my annual upping of the Fallout First and stuff is coming up. So I'm like, I guess I should do it for yet another year, I'm assuming, just because. But, the interest for that is kind of wearing a little thin. So I'm actually to the point where I'm considering, not getting Fallout First again.
You don't need to. You don't need to. It's not like you do that much on custom besides a little bit, but you've actually found that you like getting the XP more. And
Yeah. And, it's
scrap
just
box, you're full of stuff in your scrap box probably.
And almost every Tuesday or whatever when I log in, I'm used to there being like a little Fallout First, item that we can download or something, but there was nothing this week. I was like, where's my Fallout First item? Getting all grumpy. I didn't get
So I tell you, the one thing that did hit me was that not being able to play in private world, having to play in a public world all the time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely took what little gameplay fun I had and just watered it down. And so, that was kind of the death knell for me, stopping play altogether.
Was that you couldn't go to a private?
Because I couldn't go to a private. Yeah.
So even without the extra stuff, you like be able to go and play by yourself if that's what you want to do.
Yeah. If I wanted to take a workshop without the hassle of, worrying about, somebody coming in and stealing it from me.
Totally.
Knowing that everything that I knew, where it was going to be there.
Yeah.
It made, doing the scoreboard, tolerable. When I wasn't fighting everybody for each piece of whatever. So,
yeah,
it's definitely a benefit. Definitely a benefit. It's not something you like, but I'm thinking for you, Andrew, it might not matter that much. Casey in chat mentions he's going customless. I mean, he's going firstless right now.
I like my survival tent. Just like when I'm over encumbered, I just like to be able to plop it down and dump all my junk into the scrap box,
Clint spends so much time in custom. He and Charlie, and they need to keep it going. That makes sense too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. For me, obviously.
I had kind of, I'd stopped collecting stuff anyway. I wasn't looting, when I would go, even if I went to an event or something like that, I wouldn't even bother to loot, the legendaries or anything. So,
yeah, because you're like, I don't really need it.
Yeah.
There's a point where just excess is excess. Solior says typically goes without first, but has it for this month right now. And we have Aaron in chat saying, I've kept first for now. So, a number of people up and down and various reasons for doing it. So yeah, whatever you decide. But Andrew, I don't know. Maybe try without, just see how it feels. Because it's not like you can't just get it the next month, right?
Sign it up again.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, and if I wanted to fire it, if there was something that was compelling to me to play again, I would definitely restart first.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be without it. I mean, I've been without it on other systems. Like right now I have it on Xbox and PC, but I don't have it on PlayStation. And, and I've been previously used to be only on Xbox and not on PC. Like it is definitely different without it. But as long as you can load that scrap box, or like I'm telling people with the scoreboard this season, instead of, just loading a scrap box, not having it now, do it season by season. At the end of each season or, midway through to get the boost, grab it 1 month per season so you can claim all the gold rewards, claim all your Fallout First rewards. And that's all you need. And then take 2-3 months off and then do it again for the next season. Like that'll work too.
That's smart. Yeah.
It's optimizing, maximizing. So besides that, more iguana bits. I just want to mention I had said that the Redfall embargo was up on the 22nd, which was a couple days ago. And yes, it was. People came out with their Redfall previews and reviews. That's the upcoming game from Arcane Studios, part of Bethesda. And generally positive. Obviously, look that up yourself. Maybe some of you already watched videos, but I just want to say people were pleasantly surprised. There is a decent amount of story in there. Exploration is interesting, the kind of stuff that makes Arcane games fun, like Dishonored. There is stealth and multiple ways to, solve a problem. It's not just a shooter. The negative feedback that came in from almost every review was that they were getting frame drops and lag sometimes. So running around what they were playing on, they were getting drops, but it's still 2 months out. Hopefully that'll be tightened up some. But if you want 100% smooth, that was not the experience of any of the previewers. And also some people said that while there is more story than they expected, the story's a little bit lacking for motivation. But the quests and scenarios themselves were pretty darn neat, and there's more like lore and world to the world than they expected. So yeah, if you're into vampires and Bethesda and you've been curious about it, it looks like it's going to be worth a play.
Hopefully better than the Skyrim vampires bull from...
Yeah, way better. Way better. And there's a lot of variety too. Like it's not just one kind of vampire. There's a lot more to it than I expected. It's been very cool. Only certain preview footage was allowed, but the whole preview impressions were allowed to be talked about. And I'm really liking what I'm hearing. And then finally, I want to mention for people into Diablo, I know I'm talking totally non-Bethesda now, but it's RPG. The Diablo closed preview was last weekend that some people, the beta, people got into if they signed up. This weekend is the open beta. if you want to try the Diablo beta, try it. Just go look up how to sign up. Sign up. You might be in a long queue. I'm hearing there are some real waits to get into servers sometimes, but people are really enjoying it. And yeah, if you like Diablo, like I do, I'm going to wait for it to come out in June. But, the beta's open. Finally, last item on Iguana Bits, Fallout London, a little update for you. So they've been doing quarterly updates. The one for this quarter just came out 2 days ago, I think. They didn't do a big announcement or anything like that, but they did do a full video with a lot of the devs kind of coming out and talking about their section and essentially saying, the game is pretty content complete in a lot of ways. They did open up a casting call about 2 weeks ago for the voices and kind of doing the final touches on getting all those recorded and assigned and such. But things are on track. Inside scoop, I obviously can't say from the devs what their official timeline is, how soon it may or may not be, but they are definitely still on track for 2023 and hopefully sooner than later. So yeah, Fallout London, when there's more news, I'll tell you, but it's looking good. It's definitely coming together. And I feel like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know, but I'm wondering if I can even get a chance to get my paws on this before Starfield. We'll find out.
Well, since Starfield's getting pushed till your chances are good.
Muffin, humpers, no. Look, I put up with this BS enough, Andrew. It's not going to be pushed in.
Oh, it's
Everybody,
a hilarious bit, you guys. Just so fun.
say it with me. September 6th.
Muffin
There's
humpers.
no place like September 6th.
There's no...
Yeah, but I'm definitely looking forward to the Fallout London mod.
Looks so cool. And I know it's on PC, so Andrew probably won't get to play.
Wow.
But I'll definitely be playing, and it's funny. I was going to suggest, why don't we just do a freaking roundtable about London if it's good, and all play it together. Couple quests by couple quests. But if you can't play, Andrew, that might not work.
I'll listen. You guys can play. I'll ask
I'm
questions.
so excited. That works. Well, Lee's brother's birthday is Starfield Day. That's awesome. And then finally,
your brother's birthday is getting pushed till Q4 2020.
Oh no, he's not getting older this year. It's getting pushed.
It's your birthday. Ain't happening. Sorry.
So, quick shout out from me in the shout out section. There's a website, fallout4experiences.com. And that was a website I checked out that has a lot of these, like Ray was talking about, the mod collections. There are 4 or 5, maybe 6 mod collections on there that you can take a look at and try their curated Fallout 4 experiences. They have like the Whispering version of Whispering Hills on there, like that plus some other stuff. They've got the Metro and the Stalker, and they've got like a Frostfall kind of mod, like a Frost one with all wintry. Looks really neat. So yeah, Fallout4experiences.com if you want to look up some of those collections.
Very cool. I just had one quick quip before we head out here. Be careful when you're on Good Old Games purchasing your Fallout 2, your Fallout Tactics, because my eye was kept being drawn to these 2 other games that I was like, I've never even heard of these games. What are these Fallout games? And I clicked on it and I was reading the description, and I'm like, this sounds weird. This is not like normal Fallout games. And then backed out and looked at the art more, and I'm like, that art is strange. It's this, I mean, they're with all the Fallout games. What is this Fallout game? I've never heard of these. There's these 2 random games that were on there and then I slowed my eyes down and really read, it's Flat Out, not Fallout. I was like, when you search for Fallout, the Flat Out games also pop up on Good Old Games, and I was like, what the fuck are these games? It's like, so I just thought that was funny that I was super confused this morning at 6 a.m. when I'm trying to buy games, and I'm like, ooh, what are these 2? I'll get these 2 as well. What are these? Ooh, I've never seen these Fallout games. And no, because they're not Fallout games. They're Flat Out games. And why do they fucking pop up in the Good Old Games search when you're searching Fallout? Oh, that was so confusing at 6 a.m. this morning. Don't buy Flat Out. Well, I mean, I don't care. Go buy Flat Out. Maybe it's a great game. I've never heard of it, but could be fun. All right. Do you guys have any other topics you'd like to discuss?
All good here. Let's get a scorecation for our buddy Lawrence of Notice Files, who finished the scoreboard yesterday.
Congratulations!
Scorecation!
Very cool, Lawrence. Good job, bud.
And that is it for me.
Sounds good. Ray, got anything else there, sir?
No, I think I'm good.
On that note, I will have you all go check out Ray's No Man's Sky show at BBC ISSS, the Butcher, Baker, Candlemaker in Space, and at Ray LB over there on Twitter. Ray, thanks so much for hopping on.
Good times.
You can find her at You Wastelanders, also at Sleep Is For Tea, and at Dames Who Game. Jess, thanks so much for hopping on this week.
Kapow. Didn't expect it at the end of the show, did ya?
I can be found at Indie Android, and the show is at the Fallout Feed. I'd like to thank everyone for downloading this edition of the Fallout Feed, and we will see you in the wasteland.
Thank you for downloading this episode of the Fallout Feed Roundtable. If you are interested in doing a play-along character with us, the show can be contacted by emailing falloutroundtable@gmail.com. For the Roundtable schedule, our Amazon link, and all other show information, please head on over to asapodcasting.com, where you will find the Fallout Feed, a Skyrimatic podcast, our YouTube channel, the Chatterbox, as well as other content. Once again, thank you for downloading, and we'll see you in the wasteland.
Been a little bit of grinding. You guys, I was in heaven. Scroll through the F section. Clank, clank, clank. Yeah, keep your shirt on.
Pound sand.